it's time for us to get into the newspapers here on News Flash. Don't forget that today we're putting a spotlight in Assin North. That's where the by-election is happening. So most of our conversations will be around that. We'll be getting some correspondence from there as well, and we'll be speaking to some of the party members, the communication team members as well, to get their take on what's happening there.
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
Good stuff.
So we'll start with the very first newspaper. We will start with the Daily Guide newspaper. D-Day at Assin North, vote NPP, says Baumia, and IGP disarms bodyguards. Now, we know yesterday the IGP met the leadership of the two political parties to speak to them with regards to peace prevailing in Assin North today. And we are hoping that peace will definitely prevail, and he has disarmed the bodyguards. So there's no bodyguard there who is armed today, which is great.
Which is good, you know, very, very crucial, because if you look at the Assin North by-election and what have come up before we get into what we're getting into right now, then indeed it's one place that we should be very careful when it comes to security. So
and it looks like it's the most competitive elections for now, because it sort of becomes the decider for 2024, because both political parties, like, you know, Professor Jampo said, will base their campaign message on what will happen today. Not just that, but then we also hear what Ghanaians will say with regards to 2024, because Ghanaians will now say, okay, it looks like Assin North is saying what the NPP is doing, so should we vote the NPP back to power to make them, you know, break the 8, or we should bring the NDC if they should win? Is it that the people are really struggling and we think that yes, people are feeling it, and so we ought to vote for the NDC? So, you know, it's quite a decider for 2024. You know,
and it will be a crucial one for the NDC. I mean, knowing that it was possible Kumawu was going to be for the NPP, but then again, if you say that the people are suffering, then it should reflect in some of these, you know, elections. And so if the people say, you say the people are suffering and they know they are suffering and they are still voting for the government that is making them suffer. Then after Kumawu, if Assin North also decides for the NPP, then you're a bit worried about how your, you know, outcome will be like in 2024, because really
and
that should be reflective.
Assin North has the seat hasn't been for one political party.
It's been switching over the period. You know,
it's quite
pretty
a swing seat. You know, as 2012 it was for the NDC, for 2016 it went for the NPP, for 2020 it was divided
because of the crazy situation.
So there was a division where the president retained his seat. However, you know, when it came to member of parliament, the NPP lost it to the NDC. So then it becomes a little bit tough, because nobody can say this is our seat. Unlike when you go to Kumawu, where you know that the NPP has reigned there for God knows how long. Even when you go to the Volta region, there are some places in the Volta region that you can comfortably say that this is an NDC seat. But this seat in the central region is not for anybody. No political party can sit down and comfortably say, I own this. It's hard work, and it's definitely the determining factor for 2024.
Anyway, we'll look at the outcome at the end of the day.
We'll continue with some of the stories in Daily Guide News. Okay, so before we continue with the stories, we want you to see what is happening in Assin North currently. We see some policemen there making sure that we'll have peace during this election. We see the Electoral Commission seated, working hard. Some people have queued already to cast their votes. That is how people are keen to elect a member of parliament for them. And so it's going to be quite an interesting one, I must say. As of 6 a.m., people have queued.
When it comes to some of these things, I'm excited about the fact that no matter what or how people see situations that they are in, they still want to be out there and ensure that they also, you know, register you know. So this is the formalities, the way to go. You understand? And for me, at the end of the day, peace should be a thing. You know, you cast your vote, you go, you wait for the counting and all of that, so that we don't have to be, you know, recounting in discipline or whatever it is at the end of the day. I mean, if you look at Kumawu, it was by large successful, you know, in terms of such things. So we're hoping that Assin North will also replicate the same thing. You know, yes, the youth might be a bit whatever it is, but at the end of the day, we would have to ensure that we don't get too many casualties or whatever it is. But you see, the thing is, there've also been concerns about, and that's one major issue when it comes to elections, and the fact that people would have to be getting certain things just to vote and all of that. I'm hoping that today we don't get to, because you see,
we will get it.
It's making our democracy a bit of a problem. You know, the way people come and accuse people of giving monies even on the voting day and all of that. I hope we don't
see the thing is, it has come to stay. It's now a norm. If you don't do it, there's a high possibility. But
it's getting worse.
Out. And so
you initially on a voting day, you hardly see anybody go and influence anybody with anything.
Things are getting worse.
But now it's more like a norm. You know, it's becoming a norm, which doesn't really make sense.
It's actually a norm now, just that the items that are given have been increased.
It's crazy. It's not supposed to be the case.
Anyway, more stories from the Daily Guide newspaper, all set for Collins Dauda and others trial. Starts cash movement with armored cars, says BOG as they order. Organized labor declares strike July 10th. I am doing the Daily Guide newspaper, the Daily Guide. Organized labor declares strike on July 10th. Ooh. So organized labor is actually going on strike, which is not a good thing at all. Not good. And it's actually supposed to happen on July 10th, which is somewhere, next 2 weeks. Not good. Not good. Anyway, some entertainment stories here as well. Miss Bell welcomes the baby girl, Banky W, in cheating allegations. Well, it looks like Banky and his wife are trying to tell us that they are, the rumors are false.
I strongly believe so. I strongly believe so. I think the timing for them was wrong. You know, these are couples that have been really some sort of a power couple because of what the husband is involved in, you know, over the period. Politics, church, and all of that. So I'm just thinking somebody just felt like, let me just raise this alarm. Let me distract
You know,
them.
yesterday I actually heard something about myself that I was shocked. I heard I was divorced. I didn't know.
Oh, really?
I didn't know I was a divorcee. So I called my house. I said, I hear I'm divorced, though.
You'll be looking for that.
I hear I'm wearing a ring for fun.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know, it can be crazy. You know, it can get to the point. For me, I think everybody who is in this space should understand that these things can come up at any point in time, whether true or false, whatever it is up to you and whoever is involved to actually look at the situation and say, you know what, we are not going to make them win. You know, it could be true, it could be false, but you see what they're doing right now, they're putting everybody to shame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they're making love beautiful.
Exactly. Whether it's true or not, this is how we chose to make things. And we're going to make sure we go on that level. And so it's crazy. And it's not going to be the last time. These things will come up almost every time. So I am excited that they've taken their own path and they're shaming people at the end of the day. Because
that's good. Okay, so some business stories in here as well. MTN increases Momo tariffs. Yesterday, MTN came out to say that they are putting it on hold for a while. There was a statement. Let me see if I can get the statement to read it to you. So they said they are definitely going to put it on hold. They are not going to let it start from the 1st of July. So I'm going to get it for you so you get to know what MTN has said so far with regards to this. 1 second.
All right, so we're
the MTN,
it's on the screens right now.
Yellow valued customer, the planned review of the cash out fee for Momo has been withdrawn. The current cash out fee of 1%, capped at 10 Ghana cedis, still remains and will be charged to your wallet. Do not pay any other fees. We apologize for any inconveniences that may have caused. Just Momo it. So wait, are they... I don't understand this one. So, is it on hold or it's not even happening? Which is which?
Okay, so I've not heard about anybody saying that it's been effective. You know, they've made transactions and they've seen it, and it means that it's effective yet. Right?
No, I mean, you know, the 1% is what it is.
Yes.
It's already been there.
Yeah.
They actually came out to say it will take effect, the 2% will take effect in July, the 1st of July. Now, they have come out before the 1st of July to let us know that it's on, I don't know if it's on hold or it's been, they are saying it's been withdrawn.
This means that it's the whole idea has been withdrawn. And so it means that it will not be effective even as of July, 1st July, unless for some reasons they say they're going to review it and they still insist or think that it's something they want to implement. then maybe they'll be looking at the 1st July again or a different date. So, but as of now,
as for the 1st July, they can't look at it again.
Has been withdrawn. Whoever's decision it was.
They said we apologize for any inconvenience. I bet people started withdrawing all their money from their mobile wallets.
Because no, you see, and I think that whoever's decision was for this, to be taken, makes a lot of sense. You're in an economy where people are struggling to feed, and there's a way they can actually do business with your brand, and you think that the good thing you want to do is to make sure that they pay extra for whatever it is. It's the same services you're going to give them at the end of the day.
Well, we are happy that exactly
for the longest, but all they do is to increase stuff. I mean, really. We will draw it. I'm going to put it somewhere. Now, chop box, what's that thing? Money box. Plenty. I buy like 4. Oh.
Anyway, Uncle Bernard has joined us. He is the editor for the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Ben Assin, good morning.
I think he's not heard us. Uncle Ben.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I trust you're good.
Oh, by God's grace. And you too?
We're very well. We've not heard from you for a while, but it's good to hear your voice again.
Oh, but I know that as for this season, you will hear from me.
Very, very, very much. Very, very, very much. It's our season.
Yes.
Great. So Assin North is the spotlight this morning. Every conversation will seem to be around that. Eventually we'll get to see who becomes the MP for that area. But let's look at your initial remarks of the entire processes that has led to today's event.
Okay. I guess you want to know how I arrived at my forecast.
Exactly. Before all the things that have come to play from the both parties, the pronouncements and everything, which also necessitated your review of the entire situation.
Okay. Thank you. Assin North is a swing constituency. In 2012, the NDC won both the parliamentary and the presidential. In 2016, the NPP won the presidential and the parliamentary. And in 2020, the NDC won the parliamentary and the NPP won the presidential. When this dedication thing came up, I knew there was going to be a by-election because some years ago, a former, the man is late now, Adamusa Kande. He was in a similar problem, that is without renouncing his other citizenships. And the court ruling, which had been jailed, was that when you filled your form, you add your money to the EC and they will save it and give you a receipt. At that time, you must have your renunciation ready. So I knew that there would definitely be a by-election. So I went back to the constituency and found out why the NPP parliamentary candidate who won in 2016 lost to Christians in 2020. In Assin North, the biggest town is Assin Breku. The lady was coming from Assin Fosu, but had issues with the MPP in Assin Breku through the voter skirt and blouse. Fast forward, when the MPP had their primary, Charles Opoku won. And Charles Opoku is from Assin Breku, just as Christians. Opoku seems to have been preparing himself for politics because for the past 5 years, he had an NGO which had been doing philanthropic gestures around Assin Breku and Assin North. Christians had sympathies with some swing voters. But some revelations by leading members of the NDC that in 2012 and 2016, P. Quincy had attempted to register to contest the NDC primaries, and he was disqualified for the same reason that he had not renounced his Canadian citizenship. So that sympathy went away with many of the swing voters. Now, a statement by John Mahama, the NDC presidential candidate, that the result of today's by-election is going to be like a referendum on the performance of the NPP government, has also heightened the tension. It will be a close election, but if you ask me that you wanted to bet your last 100 cities, I'll ask you to put it on NPP Charles Opoku to win the seat.
Well, Uncle Ben, as you're saying that we should bet our last 100 Ghana cities on there, the NDC are also saying that Jacha Kwesen has been of immense support to the people of the Assin North. And so they feel that the way they voted for him massively in 2020, he's going to gather the same vote. Why do you think that as of now, the NPP definitely will win? You know, you have definitely told us about, you know, the swing seats and everything. But there are campaign messages out there as well, where they feel that Jacha Kwesen has done so much for the people and the people will retain him.
Please come again. You're a bit fake.
Okay, I was saying that the NDC will not agree with you with regards to us banking our last 100 Ghana cities on, you know, Charles Opoku, because they feel that Jacha Kwesen has been of immense support to the people of Assin North. When he was elected into power, even though that he had a few issues, he still supported them. He's given a lot back to them, and so he'll retain the seat. But you are saying that Charles Opoku will definitely be declared as the winner. Now let's look at these two individuals, the kind of support they've given to their communities, and why you are saying that Charles Opoku will definitely emerge as the winner. It's even not with regards to it being a swing seat.
Oh, you know, let's give an example of Kumewu. In 2020, the independent candidate in Kumewu lost by 2,000. The by-election that was held, the candidate was from the same town as the independent candidate. And he lost by over 6,000 votes. Now, fast forward to Assin North. The two of them are from Breku. They will be sharing the spoils in Breku. The lady who won in 2016 but lost to the NDC candidate did not contest, and he is from Assin Fosu. So it's likely that quite a number of the people from Assin, but the woman did well in his home area of Assin Fosu, but lost out in Breku, where he's not from. Now this time, the two main ones, NDC and PP, are from Breku. The woman has taken the NDC, MPP candidates to Assin Fosu and done a lot of work for him. The NDC is sure of winning. I think that until about 3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, when news came out that he had been disqualified earlier, some of the swing voters are angry with the NDC for taking that risk, you know. And in such close elections, it's the swing voters who matter because they make the difference.
So the other question is to do with the kind of intelligence. Have you gathered any kind of intelligence this morning from Assin North?
I heard it correctly, I think that the balance in Parliament is one of the reasons why Assin North has been so heightened. You know, the tension and the stress in Assin North is not like Kumewu, which has been like a safe seat. This is a swing seat. So the balance in Parliament is one of the things which matter. And two, the NDC thinks that a victory today in Assin North will be a huge propaganda weapon for them against the NPP in the run-up to the 2024 elections.
Okay. Uncle Ben, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We are very grateful. We'll definitely try to get you back tomorrow morning when we get the results, and we'll talk about the results.
Okay.
Same to you. Same to you. So we'll be speaking with Ben Assin, who is the editor for the Daily Dispatch newspaper, and he's telling us that we should bank our last 100 Ghana cedis, or bet our last 100 Ghana cedis on the NPP for a win today. But the people of Assin North actually do hold the results, because when they cast their vote, it's their vote that will definitely decide who becomes the member of parliament for their constituency. What's the next newspaper we have, Kay?
So let's go to the new Crusading Guide, and on front page it says Assin North By-elections, voters to elect new MP today. And US comments Akufo-Addo on commitment to economic reform. Ofuase Yorubi gets a new post office, and Francis Adainimo files nomination in a grand style. So yeah, we'll be having a lot of grand styles coming through. Maslock signs MOU with the ASI and Rice Project. Just Bond Group signs agreement with IRRI. And so that's the front page of the new Crusading Guide. And let me get into some of the issues in the middle pages. Well, Assin North By-election, don't elect someone with legal issues, Akufo-Addo says so. And also, my vision is to create jobs. Kennedy Japan also captured in the middle page of the new Crusading Guide, and include Asantehene in the country's cabinet. Bismarck Ayensu says so. And repair our damaged bridges for us, Tunkwa Chief cries out. And so those are some of the news stories in the middle pages as well. But of course, the most one that will be getting the front page will be the Assin North elections this morning. So that'll be the new Crusading Guide.
Well, the Anchor seems to be reporting the same thing. The Anchor newspaper. NPP, NDC lock horns today after accusing each other of a vote buying. Quite interesting. Whenever I get the elections, you know, there's all, propaganda going on here and there, lies going on here and there, accusations. But campaign has ended though. Officially, campaign must end. Yeah. But the monies will not stop flowing.
That's the problem.
The rice will not stop flowing. The oils will not. I wish I was living in Assin North right now. I know, right? I wish. But
money in the sky.
Do you remember that? I think somewhere 2008 thereabout, or 2008, 2004 elections, they were sharing of chamber pots and all.
Yeah. Based on where your location. You find what is the important thing this people interesting.
Times have changed. It's no more the chamber pots. It's now rice and oil. And rice is actually
your image on the rice.
Now rice is luxury, It's quite expensive to get rice. So when somebody gives you a bag of rice, you ought to vote for that person.
But I'm hoping we don't see much of that. You see,
hopefully.
And I read from some very serious people who've been in politics for a long commentators, and they see how worrying that trend will be in a couple of years to come. Even Manasseh wrote about it. It's a dangerous thing, no two ways about it. Even so that it's happening on the day of elections, that's something we should be worried about. Because at the end of the day, you have other young ones who are looking to becoming.
What are the measures that can be put in place to stop this? I think that definitely something can be done about it, because if there are laws that says that so just enforcement, because there are laws that says that campaigning must end on the day of elections. So officially today, nobody's supposed to campaign in Assin North. However, we see it happening all the time. And it's the D-Day that the campaign is even the biggest.
Or anybody's whatever. No. It's never been,
Nobody has been prosecuted because of that.
It doesn't make sense because that's the law. You enforce it.
But who is to enforce it when you have a political and it's not just I will say the current political party, but every political party that will be in power at that time, they want to use their power to campaign to the people because they have the money, and so their campaign is who is going to enforce it.
That's a problem too. That's why you probably would need an independent, body institution to actually take care of this. Like the, special prosecutor is doing, for example, the attorney general is doing, for example. These are people who have got that power to just chase anybody who they feel has flouted any law to a certain point. But you see, when there's two different things. You making a chase, investigation, and the other side of it is prosecution. You can do all the chase and all of the investigations you want to do, but if we don't see the prosecuting part of it, then the people will now begin to think that, well, it's the normal fashion show.
That's the thing.
Let's chase him. Let's try and say we're investigating him, and it ends there. So we need to see some end to some of these issues that have come up, and then we'll be able to say that, now we believe that these things, can be done here.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day.
Anyway, NDC chairman denies extortion claim. He says he received 3,500 Ghana cedis token from failed MP aspirant. Mahama sharing ministerial post in opposition. Alleged, I think. And the banner headline, which is the biggest story, police deploy 800 officers to Assin North as IGP orders MP's bodyguards to withdraw their guns.
Simple.
So 800 is enough though.
It would depend. Maybe the security experts can speak on this.
Speak on it, right?
I am thinking that before some of these things are done, there's some sort of feasibility study in that space where they are going. So they'll be able to tell that 1,000 will do, maybe 1,005 will do for here. I don't know how many that were sent to Kumawu because Kumawu was a big deal. But I am hoping that whatever number that has been put in place to ensure that security wise we're able to take off the place will be in consonance with what investigation that went into the town.
All right.
And so maybe we'll be good. We'll be good.
Definitely we will be good. More stories in here. So the business side, we have the capacity to provide armored bullion vehicles for banks, says bullion operators. Right. It shock you. It shock you. Right. They say they have the capacity to provide. Well, you see, the kind of bullion vans that we have currently are not bullion vans. What we have are pickups.
Of course.
Yes. And we have padlocks. So pickups and padlocks, and we are good to go.
No, you can't say that's a bullion van.
But we need to have bullion vans.
Yeah.
And there are, certain things that bullion vans have that these pickups don't have.
Yeah.
It should have bulletproof. It should be fully armored. The security is tight. When you watch these movies from the Westings, you see their bullion vans and you know that you even need a code to go in to take the money. You don't need to just get a hammer and break a padlock and get the money out. So if you kill a police officer, you need to get that code to be able to open the bullion van.
So it's still a waste of time.
It's still a waste of time. So you won't even go and attack the police officer because you don't have the code.
And even that would be very useful here in Ghana in the sense that even in the West where intelligence, technology is very high, people can actually break into codes and all of that. They're having problems with breaking into them.
Yes.
Even there that you may think it's that easy for them to do. So imagine bringing those
things to Ghana. I mean, they won't even try.
What intelligence are we?
They might try, but they won't dare put it like that.
Anywhere.
Yeah, because I know that if I go and I attack it, by the time I finish logging in
who's going to give that person that logging in?
By the time you are even done, logging in that code.
They have no knowledge on anything that has to do with intelligence. Don't forget them.
Anyway, we continue. Mofa projects Ghana to be lead exporter of soya bean by 2030, and don't vote for someone who could end up in jail. Looking forward to Assin North constituents, and I'll appoint Joshua Kwesi as minister if I win 2024 polls as Mahama. That will be all. KMJ, we are going back to Assin North, right?
Okay, so.
All right, so okay, so before we go to Assin North, I think that there are other stories in here as well. Let me try and get something here. All right. So one story that caught my eye is the fact that don't vote for someone who could end up in jail. So he could end up in jail, but if he becomes the member of parliament, will they prosecute him? Will he be jailed? What is going to happen? And this is one concern of a lot of people. Now, will this man be found guilty criminally where he has to spend jail term after he wins? If he doesn't win, will you jail him?
You see, he's confident, very, very confident, that even in jail, people will still vote for him. He will still be the chosen one, So for me, I think that whatever happens today will change a lot of things with regards to what will be happening, in the coming weeks. Yeah.
Well, it's not just the NPP and the NDC who are competing the seat in Assin North. One political party that's competing is the LPG, and we have the flag bearer for the LPG joining us on phone this morning. Good morning, Akpalu. Mr. Akpalu, Honorable Akpalu, incoming Akpalu. How are you this morning?
Yeah, I'm good.
Presido.
Yes, sir.
Well, we know that you have, you are competing to have a seat in Parliament in Assin North. Tell us about how your campaign has been so far.
Oh, the campaign has been well. It has gone very, very well. Yeah, it's going very, very well. It's going very, very well. Just that, the inducement is the one that is frustrating our moves. Other than that, I would have said we're going to win this election hands down.
Oh, okay. So when you talk about inducement, is it that you don't have as much as the other political parties have, or is that you just don't want to give, but you want to sell your campaign message?
Yeah, we have the message, but they have the money. We have the message, they have the money. So they are sharing the money like rainstorm, So the money is flowing. They are throwing it left and right. So, it's very scary, but all the same, it's like David and Goliath fight. We will give them a knockout.
All right, so Mr. Akpalu, how much money have you seen being given to an individual?
It depends, because some people are receiving like 500 CDs with cutlass, with volunteer goods, with Kobe, then with Amane, and then and salt, and then Maggie cubes, a whole lot. They are giving to them like something, So it's very, very scary, but all the same, let's wait and see what happens this evening.
Well, so for your member of parliament, incoming member of parliament, like you said, Sir David and Goliath, so you definitely know you're going to win because your message is good. Tell us the kind of message that you have sold to the people of Assin North.
Actually, our message is very simple. We are telling them that they need development. And if they need development, they need a kind of member of parliament who will be able to win some kind of influence or power in parliament to enable them get what they want in their constituency. Voting for MPP or NDC will bring them nothing, because their candidates, when they get to parliament, they will just be backbenchers. They won't have any influence, so they can't bring them anything. But if they need a member of parliament who will have that kind of influence to bring them something, it should be Venice and Yonam Sofenu. Because, you see, currently, as you know, parliament is divided into two. So when a single vote there is very, very essential, very, very important. And And if you have somebody who is neither MPP or NDC with that kind of influence or power, definitely she will be able to bring in what they needed at that place. So this is what we've been telling them. And some people, they've been sitting quietly, listening to us and coming out by telling us that we have been able to convince them. So basically, we are waiting to see what will happen. And we know, because looking at the constituency, they lack a lot of development. It's a place where their road network is very, very, very bad. Very, 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 extremely bad road network. So we'll be telling them that they should look at their conditions and take this opportunity and make use of it. Other than that, if they go after the money that they are throwing to them and forget about their future,
right, they
will not get this opportunity again.
Did you promise them monies if they have twin children?
No, that has been my message for all these years. That when I become president, I'm going to pay child benefit. Okay. So whilst I'm campaigning for my candidate, I'm also campaigning for 2024 myself.
Okay.
And so I have to tell them my message. And you know my message has been consistent. That when I become president, every child in this country will receive child benefit every month. We'll pay you money to enable us have money circulating in our economy. If monies are not circulating, how do you create jobs? How do you create wealth? So we have the message, like I told you, and I'll be saying this now and then that when I come to power, I'm going to support rice farmers, such that we produce enough for our own consumption than importing them.
Okay.
And also poultry.
All right, Mr. Akpalo. I think KMJ has some questions for you.
Oh, no, me, I wanted to find out. Incoming President, I wanted to find out.
Yes,
what they are not expensive like that, though. We could have also afforded and giving them something small.
No, come again.
I'm asking that Kobe and Amanidi is not too expensive. We could have also done something small for these people. Though.
No, I think it's not right to influencing people with money or goods to enable them to vote for you. I don't think it's right. So we can't do that as a party. We think it's wrong.
Okay. Mr. Akpalo,
well.
Before you go, can we know what you think or the number that you think your candidates will gather today with regards to the votes?
In fact, the lady will definitely win the election, but as to the number, I don't know, but she will definitely win the election.
With what percentage, please?
For the percentage, I don't know, but what I know is that she will win.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Landslide, or we're looking at?
Every win is a win, my brother. So far as she wins, that is all.
Even if it's 1% or 0.5%, we're good.
It's not one vote. It's 1 vote margin. It's working for us.
Mr. Akpalo, thank you so much for speaking with us this morning.
Thank you.
Good luck in today's elections, though.
Sure.
All right, so Mr. Akpalo is actually the flag bearer for the LPG party, and they are definitely competing to also, get a seat in Parliament, and he has a candidate competing today, and we wish them nothing but the best. We'll continue with what the newspapers have for us.
Every win is a win.
Every win is a win, even if it's 1%, the win is a win. Now, let's do the Hawk newspaper. Oh no! I think you want let's do your
Finder is the Finder. Yes. Pretty much what is happening today. Too close to call, but Opoku tipped to win with narrow margin. And Ofrasi Yobi gets new post office. Police are sure of adequate security in Assin North By-elections. And Zipline flies 100,000 anthrax vaccines to Upper East region. Those are the stories captured on the front page of the Finder. Yeah.
I'm here reading what is here as well.
Okay, so the EC says we are ready for the Assin North By-election. That's what the EC is saying. So if you were a bit worried about what the EC's position was looking like in terms of elections, they've assured that they are ready for the elections. Shortage of maize seed disrupts planting in Sisala, and tanker drivers embark on strike over deplorable roads. A policeman reported dead after collapsing at Whole Sports Stadium. These are some stories in the. We lost 2 policemen, just this week. The bullion van and this one too also collapsed. Anyway, that's the final this morning.
Although the Hawk newspaper, Akufo-Addo urges voters to reject jail-bound Kwesen. When it gets to this time, I do say that campaigning is very, very vital. You campaign both on national television, you campaign to the people, and you campaign within newspapers as well. So your campaign is very important. And then you do that door-to-door one. So we've seen a lot of newspapers.
When did we see? That was 2016. We saw a lot of door-to-door.
Yeah, a lot of door-to-door. Yeah. When they were eating the fufu and all.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I should just show them where I live. They should come and knock on my door. Actually, come and campaign to me. Because 2024 is the campaign message for me.
Yeah,
that's the decider for me. Because I have always been a swing voter. I don't belong to one particular political party. So depending on the kind of political party that has the right policies to change Ghana, what I think that my children will benefit from. It's what I vote for. So I don't vote on one political party, no.
Just like Assin North, swing.
So I'll show you where I live for you to come and knock on my door and give me a campaign. Yeah. So the campaign is really going on, and I see a lot of newspapers, really there for it. So the campaign is on, and let's see who emerges as the MP for Assin North today. We are still on the Hawk newspapers. Ours aren't artworks in green books. VP Baumia playfully mocks NDC. NDC organizer exposes tribal plot to recapture Techiman South. Claims is a war for settlers' freedom. Some stories in here as well. Judiciary figures alleged interference in fraud prosecution exposed. Okay, IGP arrives in Assin North for by-election. Now let's talk about this IGP though. Now he is one of the best IGPs we've seen. He is in Assin North himself.
Yeah, and not just there. There are many other places that he will not just send his people. I don't want to use boys. He will not just send his personnel and say,
or his men,
and say, oh, I'm the boss. I'm the one who is in charge. So I'll be calling you people from my office at headquarters and be finding out what you guys are doing. I mean, this is somebody who has gone to the barest minimum of places where you feel anybody of his position will not go. He's visited Indomie sellers. He's visited ghetto boys. He has gone to see them and encourage them that life will be better. He's, even in the night, he's been to places where you not expect that an IGP will be going, because really you've got the men to do the job. That's where you deploy them almost every single day. They're everywhere.
And he doesn't use a motorcade.
No,
he doesn't.
I've seen him on the Tesano stretch a couple of times, and he's always alone. I remember that a couple of weeks or months ago, I emceed a wedding that he was one of the special guests at East Legon, and he came through, and there was nothing that showed that the IGP was there. Ordinarily you see policemen, everybody, because that's the IGP.
He doesn't abuse power at all.
When we even asked him to come and sit on the high table, he said, I'm sitting with all these people who are sitting here. You just put other people on the high table. That was my first encounter one-on-one with him. And I'm like, so it's not like the normal rhetoric about aesthetics. He's doing it because, he wants to do it, or because he wants people to know that he's different. But on the real, this man lives that life.
Yeah.
He may have his own flaws. That's personal, whatever it is. But on the job, this man is just a different person. He did the same thing with Mo. He did the same thing. So he's done well for himself. He's really, really done well for himself.
There's actually a sad story here, and it says 2 kids drowned in abandoned Galamsey pit at Etrima in Pona.
There are many others that have not been reported. When it comes to this Galamsey and kids even dying, there are many others that have not been reported.
Sad.
Many others.
Well, the fight for Galamsey will continue, and we are hoping that one day success will be the story, because this fight is not... It's not an easy one.
Yeah.
It's not. Because you have children who have been embedded into it.
Yeah.
It's like a generational thing. Mother is doing it, father is doing it, children are doing it.
I think is the right way, because they don't even see the effects, the consequences of what they're doing. Because you see, the one who is leading them to do it is not making them look like there's a side effect to it. The entire point of view is the money you make out of it. So as long as it's going to give you the money, let's just focus on it. There's no negative effects whatsoever. Unless maybe they get to read it in the newspapers or whatever conversation people are having around it. But their mothers, their parents, their what they would never tell them that, oh, this Galamsey thing you're doing, this is the negative effect. No, they won't tell them. So these kids will grow up doing this and making it look like it's legal business.
You know, as a child, you look at what your parents do. A child's first mentor is their child, is their parent. Sorry. So I see what my parent is doing, and I want to be just like my parent. So if my parent is doing Galamsey and is putting food on the table, I want to be a better version of my parent. Probably I'll do the same Galamsey, but I even do it in a deeper way, you know. And sometimes they start very, very young to go to school. Some of them will even skip school so they can just go do this and get the money, get the gold, you know, and they don't even go sell it to proper, you know, buyers. They sell it to some roadside, give them what, 5 CD, 10 CD, and they are risking their lives. Children as young as 6 years, 8 years, 10 years.
They have no idea. For them, it's like it's a legal business. Everybody's doing it. As long as I can go in there and draw some whatever it is and wash and make money out of it, why not? Galamsey is a big deal. It's a serious issue. I mean, apart from the effect that we have on our water bodies and all of that, the human, you know, side effects that comes with it, it's a big deal. You understand? You will not go anywhere in the world where people are very civilized and they would send small, or they would even want to be involved in something as dangerous as Galamsey. Something that we see that is so normal here that everybody wants to be doing it. You don't go to any sensible country, and I would be very blunt about it. And you see kids, you know, pushed into doing businesses like that. You know, it doesn't make sense.
It's sad.
It doesn't make sense. Anyway. So yeah, we're hoping that we'll be able to solve this issue, you know. And for me, it's about the seriousness. You know how we talk about the Galamsey issue? When it comes up, then boom, and it goes down. And then we'll be there, and then we'll hear somebody has died, then it comes up, and it goes, you know. So yeah, we'll look at it. But we're still on Assin North, right? We have a security expert to speak to on the issue of security in Assin North. If you can hear me, Adib.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Very well. I trust you are good too.
We're doing very well. We're looking at Assin North and what will transpire today as far as the elections, the by-elections is concerned. And we want to take your view on what you think in terms of security. Now, I would want us to have the conversation prior to today. You know, I want us to have that conversation. What do you think, as of 2 weeks, 1 month ago, in preparation towards this election, some of the things that may be happening in terms of security, some of the intel and some of the things that you probably even have picked up, you know, in terms of security in Assin North?
Okay, so I'm struggling to hear you because there seems to be echo in the background.
Okay.
But if I heard you right, you're asking me about my general assessment of security on the ground.
Okay, so what if you can hear me now, is it okay now?
It's better. It's
great.
Better, yeah.
Great. So what I want to find out is the preparation towards the main day. In terms of security, what are some of the things that may have happened or may be happening, you know, prior to the elections in terms of security? Like, for example, the NPP has been there, the NDC has been there. There are several other ways. If people decide that they want to do bad, they will plant a few things that would, at the end of the day, on the day, would favor them. So in terms of that, do you think it's a possibility, or there have been ways that we can, or we've been able to nullify all of those things?
Okay, so
I'm really finding it difficult because I'm hearing sounds in the background and it's interfering. So I'm not able to hear only you. I think there are some voices in the background. Okay. But to some extent, I got what you are trying to say. The situation on the ground, I must say, is a bit tensed. However, yesterday's meeting between the police and the various political actors, including the EC, eased some tensions because it gave the actors the opportunity to vent out their frustrations and their concerns and the way forward. Okay? And I think that gave us a glimmer of hope with respect to the elections happening without violence. The threats I foresaw, based on the information I've picked up from the ground, had to do with the number of metro men on the ground. There were just too many. In the name of bodyguards for party executives and, other people who were there. And I think it brings back the issue of vigilance and whether indeed the political parties have lived up to their commitment to disband these groups. The second thing has to do with the trust and confidence in the electoral process. Some have had a reason to raise concern over how clean the process would be. For example, yesterday, I listened to General Mosquito on one of the networks in which he said that the roads have deteriorated in an attempt to fix them. And it makes him wonder how electoral materials could reach the area without issues. Okay, and so many other issues that has come up. But I must say, the police has been up and doing. IGP has been very well grounded. They have moved from one household to another to educate people, to exchange numbers with them, giving them the police emergency lines and all that. And I think that is really helping. And I've also seen a number of protocols as announced by the police, which I think is another giant step in the right direction. One, no police officer would have his face covered. Two, police guards of MPs shouldn't have their weapons. That is what I have heard with respect to the MPs who have police officers as their bodyguards. And the last thing is all police officers should be in their uniform, official uniform, with name and service number tag. No police officer should be unidentifiable. Everybody should be identifiable, so we know who to hold to account if anything goes wrong. Even though the election is going to be closely contested, I am optimistic that in the end we would have a violence-free election, because the whole world is watching, by the way.
Adib, so with regards to what you're saying, the kind of measures that the IGP has put in place, if this is true, then how are they going to protect or control if there's any violence? Okay, so the police officers assigned to the MPs are not necessarily on electoral business. Okay. Theirs is to protect the MPs. But there will be other officers assigned to the polling stations who will perform pure electoral functions. And so those policemen are armed, right? Right. Yes. Okay. I should think so. I don't know what protocol has been put in place, but surely there are some police stations that are more volatile than the others. Okay, and we wouldn't want. I am not a fan of
giving elections a combative or military, fate. Okay, with police officers armed with AK-47 G3s or and other assault rifles. I don't really like that. For many countries like Japan, UK, and the rest, you don't see police officers moving around with even sidearms.
Okay.
Because they want to give it a friendly civilian face. All right. But on this occasion, depending on the threat assessment they will do on the various polling stations, I think that should inform them what protocol to put in place for each polling station, because they are different.
Right. 800 policemen have been deployed. Is the number okay?
Yes, it's okay, because the place is fairly small. It's not a huge place, and I think with 800 it's okay, and they'll be able to do their job. What matters to me than the numbers is the professionalism. I see more of quality than quantity. And I hope that these police officers are well trained, especially in de-escalation, because at these times, people become very, very belligerent. Sometimes they become very aggressive, and the police's ability to de-escalate in the face of threats, in the face of anger, etc., I think is key. If not, and I see a lot of that with some young officers who are full of youthful exuberance. Any little thing, they are chambering their rifles, and in the end, things get out of control. The officers have to exercise a great deal of professionalism. They have to be apolitical, and I'm hoping that in the end they'll be praised for a good job done. And I must also add something, and this is by the way, I have people on the ground who give me an hour-to-hour account of what is going on. And according to one of my sources, he's shocked at the number of land cruisers in town. Like, he's never known that there are so many land cruisers in Ghana, and that for every 10 vehicles, 7 might be land cruisers. And surely Ghana is a rich country.
Wow. Okay. So it's quite interesting to hear this. But, when you speak about this, what most members of parliament will tell you is that once you get into power, you need to travel a lot. And so you need a land cruiser. But let's see what the future holds. But aside that, have you picked any other intelligence on the ground?
Well, the intel I must say, I cannot say it on air because I wouldn't want to create a certain situation where people might be apprehensive or might be on high alert, or perhaps might exaggerate their, fears. But I hope that the police is up and doing, and nobody would be able to succeed taking matters into his own hands. I've spoken with a number of political actors on the ground, and I must say, they still do a lot of things, like different things. But I just hope the police is able to do a good job.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning, Adib Sani.
My pleasure.
Have a good day. So Adib Sani is a security analyst, and we have spoken to him this morning. It's all with regards to what is happening in Assin North. Of course, today is the D-Day for their by-elections. Who becomes the member of parliament for Assin North? KMJ?
Yeah, so the journey is finally getting to the point where we get to, say, oh, we've all settled. I mean, if you look at the issues that have come up with regards to the Assin North, elections, you would want to consider this very day as a very important day in the lives of those two political parties. But for me, I think at the end of the day, anyone who wins will be based on what the people want to decide. You understand? As for the issue of, this person have not done that, they have not. We've seen it before. We've seen towns, places complain about government and what they have not done and all of that, and they will still vote for them, for whatever reason it is. Even if you want to take the issue of they're giving us this, they're influencing that, and all of those things, people make their minds up. about 10 people can make their minds that we want to change the government or whoever that is and then about 15 people will decide that, who to spoil it.
Yeah, that's true. Now, when he spoke about the Land Cruisers, do you think it will influence the voting in any way?
It would depend. It would depend on where you're looking at it from, because we've seen these things. This is not the first time we've heard about Land Cruisers and what influences they make in governance or politics or whatever it is. You understand? So for me, at the end of the day, it's how the people even understand the use of it. Those who are going to vote, it's about how they understand why it is what it is. You get it? And see, people can see the worst things happen, and one single thing that they see in their pocket will change everything.
Right. Okay. So joining us on phone this morning from the NDC is Mustafa Gbande, who is the Deputy General Secretary. Good morning, Mustafa.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
God has been great with us.
Great. And how is the atmosphere like?
Assin, we are very prepared. Campaign activities came to an end yesterday. We've had series of deployment meetings. We also have had a meeting with the IGP and his team to streamline our modalities of operation. I think that both parties left that meeting very excited. And this morning, we are deploying ourselves to monitor the election. And so far, the place is very peaceful, except that we are trying to see if the commitments that we already made, particularly on the side of government, is anything that we will go by.
Now, Mr. Mustafa, one thing that has popped up, almost everybody saying, is to do with false allegations with regards to, some kind of campaign messages going around. How is the party dealing with this?
Well, I think one of these issues surfaced in our discussion yesterday with the Inspector General of Police, and it was a major concern, particularly the Peter McMahon raid. And we also supported that claim, and particularly the publication from MPP papers that NDC is trying to foment violence was clearly seen as an act of agent provocateur to provoke a situation and then come back to benefit of the proceeds. And so clearly we have handled that. We told the police to take charge of that issue so that we can focus on our business of politics. But when you go and say something maliciously, knowing it is not true, then the police have a cause to take some action. I think these will streamline our activities and utterances somewhat to let the process run without having to create false alarms that can break down security.
All right, sir. My name is KMJ. I'm also here in the studio, but I want to find out, with all the conversations that have come up in your meetings and all, what's your major or what's the party's major concern in terms of what happens today? Is it the aspect of security, the inducement, the false allegations that have come up, or maybe the fear of not even winning at the end of the day? What's that major concern?
Well, we are obviously worried about issues of vote buying. Particularly that government has harvested all limited state resources, undertaking projects that they haven't budgeted for. You cannot find these projects in the budget. Primary concern has to do with the utterances of the President, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, 2 days ago, to the extent that he tried to politicize the case before the court, to the extent that he tried to give a verdict. For us, we found that to be very preposterous, unpresidential, and we find that to be very divisive. We find that the president has further damaged the existing reputation of the court. The court he has further confirmed the suspicion that we've had that the judiciary is in bed with government. He has further also confirmed that one of his prime objectives, which is very excited with, is to compromise the independence of state institutions. For us, this should not be coming from a president where the president is taking for revenge out of different sets of issues, and that the pursuit of the president is just political, is not nationalistic, and for us, this destroys the democratic gains that we have made as a country. So beyond even the by-election, these are things that we will hold the president on, because he shouldn't politicize a matter in court. In the history of our republic, no president has ever scandalized the courts like Nana Akufo-Addo did. No president has ever opened the Pandora box for the judiciary to be compromised like he did. And the people within the judiciary should be worried that the executives can predict their decisions even though they haven't even started trial. It is prejudicial, it is contempt of court, and that shouldn't be coming from a sitting president.
Let's look at the expectations for today. Are you confident that the NDC would take up the Assin North?
MPP is prepared for a defeat. I think at this time we have done some work. We are very happy about the level of enthusiasm. That in itself is the win for us, because going into 2024, the energy within the NDC is activated. The interest levels are very activated. So power obviously is coming to the NDC.
All right. 2024 is just around the corner. Whatever happens today will play a very important role. Before you go, if touch wood, the NDC is not able to take that seat, what will be the new preparation or message towards 2024? If you're able to also pick it up, what will be the new message or the preparation towards 2024?
Well, for us, generally, issues of by-election are very exclusive in nature. And for us, if a sitting government loses a by-election, it means that sitting government is dead and buried. For us, it makes a case for our preparation into 2024. But particularly at the time that we find ourselves, the dynamics are very exclusive. But what case we can make is that we have demonstrated and exposed the inefficiencies of this government. We have shown the world that Nanado's government is a scam. They are not working until by-elections arrive. We have demonstrated to them that they cannot boast on bread and butter issues. Throughout their campaign, a government faced with a responsibility to change lives and transform communities cannot boast of the impact it has caused in the communities, except to say that they are doing road and they are doing astroturf. This doesn't put food on the table of the people. So the hardship the people are going through in this country is very real. So the issues are out for discussion for us. We are very excited about it.
Many thanks to you for joining us this morning, Mr. Mustafa, and we wish you the very best of today.
Thank you so much, and my warmest regards to the beautiful lady by you.
Mr. Mustafa, I'm here. Who will speak?
You are invited to Assin North.
Very well. We'll make our way there then.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
And that's Mr. Mustafa Bande, the Deputy General Secretary for the NDC, speaking to us this morning. Rose, looks like
well,
people are very
spirits
positive.
are high for all political parties. I mean, hearing Mr. Akpalu say that, although they don't have the money to give to the people, and even if they have, they won't give to the people because they feel it's not right. They still feel that this is a David and Goliath fight, and definitely David will emerge as the winner.
So now, David and Goliath. Now, what I'm thinking that he meant the NDC is Goliath. And they are David.
Yeah, and the NPP is Goliath and they are David.
What makes the NDC then? Or the fight is between the NPP and themselves?
We don't even know,
So the NDC would also say that they are also the David.
I mean, I'm just wondering who the David and Goliath is here. But, it's quite an interesting race. And like everybody has said, this is actually a very big decider for 2024. Their campaign messages, where you hear if the NDC should emerge as winners, you hear them say, yes, we told you the people are struggling, and this and that and that. And even Assin North have told us that this is the real struggle. And so MPP is out in 2024. If the MPP should win this seat, what the NPP will say is that, you see, we have reached out to the people out there are seeing our good works, and so you ought to keep us in power for 2024. So this is a big decider. And for it to even be a swing seat, it becomes more,
you're not too sure.
You're not too sure who gets to take that seat.
It's not like Kumawood, you think that, or any of the other part of the voter where you think that, this is constant.
Exactly.
With or without, whatever, I'll get it. This is more like everybody's not sure. And
you see, let's not forget that currently the president won a lot of seats there in 2020 elections. So it's not like, even when it came to presidential, it was for the NDC. So this is not a complete decider. It could go for either of the political parties. And we are just saying, may the best man win. Because today is going to be a day. I don't know if the voting has started yet. We'll try and gather that and let you know if voting has started. But we know people have queued and they are ready to vote. Who are they voting for? We don't know.
That's a very big question there. And for me, it's also going to go back to the same conversation like we saw in Kumawu. It was alleged that a few days to the elections, there were tracks sent there to go and complete the roads and all of that. The people in there, if they were true, saw these things happening.
No, when you look at Kumawu, let's take it as an example. We saw the people in there not going to vote. We saw close to 8,000 people who didn't cast their vote. So that's a big question. Why didn't they cast their vote? Because we know that Kumawu belongs to the NPP, hands down. But why they didn't cast their vote is a question. Because I remember in 2020...
Those were the ones who were not really bothered about whether the party wants to do the roads or not.
I remember in 2020, had conversations with people who would say that I belong to a certain political party, but I won't go and vote because I'm not too happy with what is happening. So I'll leave it. So for me to vote for a party that I don't belong to, I would rather not vote. And so you see this and you ask yourself a lot of questions. Why are they not going out to vote? If you're doing all of these things for them, they should come out and vote for you.
But you see, Rose, at the end of the day, I also think it's still a disadvantage to the person or to the 800 or
exactly 8,000
who didn't go to vote. Because you see, the point is your inability to vote is giving chance to the one who is doing what is doing to you to continue whatever it is. So you can only be the decider when you go out there and you vote to make the change. You understand? But if you say, we're a bit indifferent about it because we feel we're not getting what we want, and then you sit back home and the person who you think does not have to come to or win the seat wins
the seat,
what have you done to yourself and the people of the
thing
town?
Is,
it doesn't make sense.
When people are born into, one thing I've come to realize with political parties affiliation, some people are born into those parties, and so they are even forbidden to vote for the opposition or their opposition, so you can't vote for them. You might like the kind of policies that that person is bringing on board, but just because you don't belong to that party or you don't have any likeness for that party, you can't vote for the party. So when your party doesn't do something that you like, you would rather hold your vote than to cast a vote for that person. So you say, okay, the others should decide. Whatever happens, it's my back case.
But the party has a bigger chance or the bigger following. They're eventually going to win again.
Exactly.
So I think it doesn't make sense. First of all, it's very undemocratic for anybody to even think like that. You see, if you're making a decision that I don't want to be part of the political process, it's different. I don't want to be part of this voting process, it's different. But when you're making at the back of, he didn't do this for me, so I am going to show him. I'm going to give him pepper by not voting. And the person eventually wins. What have you done?
What have you done?
So
exactly. I like that point.
It's very undemocratic.
You know that
if you don't vote, you don't vote. But don't say because ABC, I'm not voting.
I think we ought to get to a level where people are not voting based on feelings. We ought to get to a level where we think about our generation. We think about who is giving us the best. Because when we vote like that, then we know that definitely we are going to have a better Ghana.
Yeah.
Who is going to give your children the best? Who is going to give Ghana the best? Who is going to put food on your table? Don't look at the party I am affiliated to. Because you see, this affiliation has actually disappointed a lot of people.
And it caused a lot of problems.
Because when the NDC was in power, there were people who belonged to the NDC and said, oh, I didn't get this appointment. Oh, I went to look for this contract. They didn't give it to me. Blah, 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 blah. I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Same with the NPP in power. Oh, they were supposed to help me do this. I invested ABCD. They are not doing this for me, so I'm not voting for them. Don't vote based on that. Vote based on the change that will happen in Ghana. Vote based on the good that will happen in Ghana. It's for everybody. And that is why, for me, I don't see myself as any particular political party. And so any party that comes to power, if you say that, Rosalie, I'm going to give you an appointment, I will take it and I will work as a Ghanaian.
And even that will go under scrutiny because really, campaign promises policies would always be campaign promises and policies. There's difference when you're making those policies and difference when you are in there and you are supposed to implement those policies. So even that, it will still come under scrutiny. It's not just because the person came and said, and then you decide, oh, the person said he will do ABCD for me, so let me just go. Even on the day of voting, you may still want to be questioning some of the policies the person said.
Can they do it?
Exactly. You know, and these are very pertinent questions you need to be asking yourself, even on the day of voting, because really, policies will always be policies. Execution of policies is a different game altogether. And we've seen it happen in this country several times. You understand?
Not once, not twice.
It happens. Most of the policies do not end up being executed when they get into power. You know, the excuse will be that, oh, there are too many things for us to do, but you gave me too many things.
Oh, we've started and we are still on it, and we are,
but you gave me too many things to be hopeful about.
Level. Exactly.
You gave me too many things to be hopeful about, so you have got no excuse anyway. You know, but that's what happens. And so we're hoping that moving forward, some of these things will change, you know, and we can make the change happen as individuals. Like you rightly said, you need to make sure that whatever decision you are making is not based on feelings or a certain affiliation. You know, then again, if you're doing that, it's the generation unborn that will suffer. You understand? Because if the NPP comes for another 8 years and you made the decision and your younger ones come and meet all those problems that we'll be facing, you cost everything.
Or if the NDC should come,
and that's the same thing. You cost everything. So the decision should not always be for me. I am making a decision because I feel this is how I want it to be. Think about those who are coming after you, because 8 years, 4 years is not a joke.
That's not a joke at all.
No, it's not. You understand? For somebody to be going through hardship for 4 years, knowing very well that until that 4 years is done, you will not see any difference or any better life. That's serious. That's
serious. I mean,
that's slavery.
Survival of the fittest, isn't it? Survival, because this is how it is now. Like, survival of the fittest. You ought to have, a survival plan to be able to survive. And that is why we say that, if you're doing all of these things, you ought to think and vote right.
Vote right. So the people of Assin North, today is the day you make that decision. Today is the day you make everybody understand that, you know what, we know what is happening in this country and we are ready to make sure that the right people take over the seat. Now, yes, if you look at the two people who are contesting, you would want to be also assessing some of the situations that have come up before you make your decision on who you want to vote for. All right, so we'll be going to Assin North. Our correspondent will be on the ground. Richard Kojinyako is on the ground this morning, and he'll be bringing us some up to speed what exactly is happening in Assin North. Richard, if you can hear me, good morning. Hello, Richard, are you on? If you can hear me. Okay, try and unmute yourself so we can hear you. Richard, unmute yourself so we can hear you. So, but on your screens right now is okay. Richard, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Oh, very well. So let us know what's happening.
Well, so today is a D-Day and preparations have been put in place. I'm currently at the Assin Lorry Park where three of the polling centers are. So on my left-hand side, there is one polling center with a voter population of 408. On my extreme left, we also have a polling center with a population of 421. And then very close to that polling station is another polling station with a population of about 438. In fact, the elections got underway very, very early at 7 o'clock. People have started voting. So people started forming the queues around 6:05, and both the young and the old, they were eager, they were determined that their terms should do the talking today because they've been they've been engaged in several debates and all of that. But today has been extremely extraordinary. Now, a lot of issues have also cropped up outside the perimeter, outside the place that the police have cordoned off for the elections to take place. There are allegations of vote buying from both sides, and it led to some fisticuffs, heated exchanges, and all of that. But many have also said that those that are engaged in that particular act are not people that are from Assin Breku. They are people that are from other constituencies that have come to foment trouble. But I must say that the presence of the police has really, really done the trick. The police jump in and then they intervene to ensure that sanity prevails. So we are on. The three candidates, none of them has voted. George Achikwesin, we went to the police station that he's expected to vote. He's not done so. We also visited the police station that Charles Opoku is expected to vote. He has not also voted. Remember that the Assin North constituency has 99 polling centers, and there are over 40,000 people that are expected to cast their ballot today. So there are interesting sounds and sights over here, and people are eager. People are still in the queue, and they are waiting for their turn in order to cast their ballot.
Right. Kojo, let me ask you this. You said Charles Opoku is supposed to vote somewhere, but we heard that he doesn't have a vote in Assin North. Has it been fixed, and can he now vote in Assin North?
No. So we are told that Charles Opoku has no vote here, but where he stays, the electoral area, that is where we are talking about. So he is expected to actually visit that place. We are told that there was no transfer of votes. So that has prevented him from voting. But the other two candidates, Enyonam of the LPG and then Mr. Achikwesin, they have voted in this by-election and they will be casting their ballot. So Opoku is scheduled to visit the polling station that if the voting transfer or the transfer had been effected, then he will be voting there. So today he has no vote in the election that is going on.
Right. And so we see some people on the screen, it looks like the spirits are high. And when you look at the atmosphere, let me just ask you, which of the political parties are charged the most? The NPP, the NDC, or the LPG?
All of them. You can imagine that MMDCs are here. Some of them are serving as polling agents, so they are the agents themselves. Some of the members of parliament, they are also serving as agents in other constituencies as well. So the atmosphere is charged for both of them, as has been earlier indicated. This election, any of the political parties could win. And so they are both charged, they are both eager, they are all sure that but by 5 p.m. when the voting ends, the declaration will go their way. And so they are all charged and they are all eager for the outcome of this election.
But so far, it's peaceful, right? No altercations so far?
Yes, so the altercations that have happened, they have happened outside the voting center or the voting area where people actually traded blows. So it translated from just verbal exchanges to actual fisticuffs. But I mean, the police managed to intervene to call these people to order. So there have been similar incidents of that nature in at least all the police stations that we have here at Assin Breku. People accusing supporters of the MPP, accusing supporters of the NDC of sharing money and all of that. And in one instance, the police had to actually go to a house where they were actually pointing fingers that the MPP support, some of them were there to share money, but we didn't know the outcome. We didn't get the outcome of it, whether the police actually met some people actually sharing money. We'll be hearing of the sharing of resources, Wellington Wood, rice, and other things. But I personally am here to see someone being handed money or being given a bag of rice or any cooking oil.
Right. Richard, thank you so much for joining us. KMJ, you have something to ask, Richard?
No. I mean, it's stated almost everything. The major issue was the alleged, distribution of items. I wanted to find out if you've personally seen any of those incidents happening, aside from the fact that there have been people pointing fingers at the MPP, NDC, places and all of that. Have you personally seen some of these things happening? Because it's a major issue in elections, especially the few by-elections that we've seen.
Well, so the closest I have come to was someone wearing a Wellington boot, where someone told me that it is one of the items that was shared. But personally, I'm yet to see that this person has been handed this kind of resource or money or something. Yet after yesterday's meeting, the IDP meeting, the various political parties together with the EC, it appears that some calm has visited us. Otherwise, there would have been some chaos here. You can even see snippets of them already happening in here. So the police are still talking to the supporters to keep calm. And then because they have cordoned off the entire area, if you are not voting, even media practitioners, the people that are covering the elections, they are also now supposed to be in the inner perimeter. They are doing everything possible for a peaceful election today. In fact, the police presence very, very visible. With just 5 minutes walk, you can meet about 10 of the policemen. So at each of the polling centers, you can count up to about 15 police personnel that are manning these centers. And so for security, it is top notch, and we are here to witness any major incident that would throw the election off here.
Just a quick one on the lighter side, though, before you go. Now, Akalu mentioned that there's been alleged sharing of Kobe, Amane, and all of that. Have Maggie Cube and all that. Have you come to hear anything like of a sort? Maybe way before the today.
Well, so yesterday I engaged Akalu, and he was confident that Engenam Benis is likely to carry the day, and he's planning on throwing a huge party. As for the allegation of the sharing of Kobe, Momone, Kwaba, and all of that, these are the rumors that are making rounds. But I'm yet to see whether someone has handed Kobe or Momone for their ambition this morning. So they all remain here until you see one.
Well, it probably will be too late because it's been used for the soup or the stew already. But anyway,
Kobe is very expensive now, So thank you so much. Richard, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Of course, anytime we have to come to Assin North, we will definitely call on your service for you to tell us exactly what's happening. Kobe has been, challenged.
It's an interesting thing.
Kobe, inflation don't catch Kobe. So Kobe is very expensive now. So what we are talking about Kobe, it's an essential commodity.
The interesting thing is that it's my favorite episode, especially in a contemporary stew. That's me. Like you got me.
Yeah, we're using the money for shit. So
so they're two favorites.
It's complete.
But I'm thinking Kobe for money, for power. Like to make somebody want to change their mind from something that they would have to endure for 4 years. I don't know what we've got into.
Well, let's see what the future holds. We are just saying that may the people vote well and may the best man win, because our future lies in the hands of these political parties. Now, the good thing is that we are seeing a third force in there. So it's not like all political parties decided to sleep and allow the two main political parties to compete. But the LPG has decided to take a bold step, and I'm hoping that this bold step will yield result. We have the NDC and we have the MPP competing. Who becomes the member of parliament for Assin North constituency? Of course, we'll know that by 5 p.m. counting will begin, and probably by 12 midnight we'll know who is the new member of parliament for Assin North constituency. But may the best man win.
Yep. Coming up, we've got what's trending. Let's see who is on standby for that. Prime Minister will follow, and a few other conversations that will be coming here on the show. So do stay with us.